you're a business owner or a marketing manager or recruiting for a copywriter and you're not sure what kind of copywriter you need, whether it's a brand or a direct response one, I'm going to answer that question in this video. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Eric DiGiovanni, founder and CEO of Diamo. We are a brand copywriting agency where we help brands get their messaging right. And me personally, I've worked with big brands like Amazon and Hulu, but I've also worked with some of the smallest companies in the world on their direct response marketing. So if you have questions about copywriting, come to us and we'll answer them. And that is exactly why I'm making this video. So, do I need a brand copywriter or direct response copywriter? Let's answer that by going over the differences between the two. We'll start on the left here with brand, because a lot of people actually know copywriting as branding or under the brand umbrella, and a lot of people don't really know the direct response side of marketing. So I'll cover the brand side first because you're probably more familiar with that, and then I'll head over to direct response. So if you are a brand that is focused on broad billboard campaigns and very large ad campaigns, you have a large advertising budget, typically what you'll see is very, very broadly spoken messaging. And what I mean by that is a lot of times brands will use very short, clever marketing to build awareness. A lot of times it's very curiosity based. I'm not saying that you can't do that with direct response, but a lot of times brands are a lot less direct. And so if you look at brands, at least the ones I've worked with, Amazon, Hulu, Disney, HBO, a lot of times they're not doing these very, very long form direct response kinds of marketing. They're doing a lot more marketing related on the name of the brand and using the name of the brand to facilitate their marketing initiatives and their associations. So that means that a brand copywriter will have experience with large ad campaigns. Think of like the Super Bowl commercial. I mean, there actually has been direct response ads on Super Bowl commercials, but they're usually not. I've only seen like one or two. They're mostly brand based. They're mostly around design and creative to build a long-term association in the audience's mind. A lot of times brand copywriters will have a lot of experience with legal because corporations care about what they say and they don't want to get a lawsuit. So obviously in corporate, you don't want, or no one wants to get a lawsuit. So a lot of brands or brand copywriters will have experience with that. They also have experience with style guides and brand voice and tone guidelines. And a lot of these copywriters write them for big brands so that they can emulate messaging in the future whenever that copywriter decides to depart from the brand. And so that brand can keep going as a timeless brand. Additionally, like I said earlier, a lot of the messaging is broader and not very, very personalized, mostly because of legal reasons. And these are mostly long-term plays on association. A lot of times the way people describe brand copywriting is being clever, witty, and not so much persuasive. It's mostly clever. Think of like brand slogans. This is very much to do with brand, like a slogan or a tagline. That's very much to do with brand. On the other side, direct response is sort of the opposite. It's very short-term focused. Think of like the very long sales letter that you might see in a mail or on a website. That's what a direct response copywriter is working on. A lot of times they're also very focused on deliverability, especially when it comes to email and SMS. They're worried about open rates a lot more. In my experience, they're worried about open rates and CTR and increases in conversions a lot more than a brand copywriter might be, because direct response copywriters a lot of times work with bootstrapping companies, and so they need to optimize their conversions as much as possible because they don't have funding or they don't have runway to basically burn money. And so direct response will cover those acquisition costs that brand copywriters might not be able to cover, simply because they're very conversion heavy. A lot of direct response copywriting is text heavy, which means they're probably not collaborating with the designer as much, and if they are, it's usually not at a very, very high level. Typically direct response mediums will include long form mediums, and they include short-term goals. So instead of like quarterly initiatives or annual initiatives, there'll be weekly or even daily initiatives focused on getting a conversion that same day or even in the same week or same hour. Again, they're very persuasive driven, so they'll use very, very persuasive tactics and frameworks such as the PAS or FFF methods, which PAS is problem, agitate, solution. That's when a copywriter will identify a problem in text, then agitate that problem through pain points and current state versus future state, and then the solution will be identified through the text as well. The FFF model is feel, felt, found. So that's when a copywriter will identify the audience's current state, saying that they've been there before, they know how it feels to be there, and they found a solution to the problem. And that you don't really see in brand copywriting. A lot of times you kind of see a lot of brand descriptions or nothing that's really driving action as far as the copy goes. And a lot of times you'll see direct response with small businesses, like very small businesses under $1 million a year, bootstrapping. You'll also see them with these online gurus, coaches, consultancies or consultants that are usually deploying email, SMS, sales letters, scripts, webinars, VSL, stuff like this, video sales letters. And not to say that these companies are worse or better. Neither one is worse or better. It just really depends on where you are in your marketing journey. So if you are a company that's got a ton of funding, a ton of money to burn, and you want to build your name more than anything and don't want to come off as too heavy on the marketing, a lot of times you'll probably go with a brand side of a copywriter. But if you're a company that doesn't have any funding, you're working a very small team, and you need as much capital as you can get, you probably want to work with a direct response copywriter, because this person will drive conversions and drive the audience to convert in a different way with longer form sales copy. And a lot of times they're focused on sort of gray hat tricks to get, for example, your emails to land in the primary inbox versus the promotions tab. And a lot of these tricks, quote unquote, that you can do are not able to be done at scale because of either a volume issue, like you can't handle the amount of emails you might get back when you're sending a brand email at scale, or just for legal reasons, because an ESP might block some of the emails that go out to a very, very large segment of a list that is using gray hat tactics.
Diamo.